Hi, this is Taki Leboff from the C4. You already read the title, so you know what we're doing today. Let's see. Today we're going to be mainly focusing on the ignition and not so much of the lightsaber, not so much of the combat. I might do that in a later tutorial. So for my footage, I have it at 720p and 30 frames per second. Yours might be different. So in the project settings, set it to whatever your footage is. I already have this imported. Now this is me here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have it ignite with the blade already attached. Which there is a way to do this. It's going to go like this. So yeah, this is where my blade's going to be. In this area right here, where the blade is going to be, I'm going to have a few seconds where I just stand there and leave this area alone, not do it at all. And then do my footage and stuff that I'm going to use, which is actually over here. So the part where I want to start in the trimmer window, I'm using, up in here you set this to compositing, or I have it as this, because I changed it a little bit for my screen dimensions. So on this little playhead thing, move it to where you want it to go, and you click this set endpoint, and then click through it to where you want it to stop, and click set out point, and then actually grab onto this and drag it down onto the timeline here. I'm actually going to remove the sound because there was some kind of background noise. So what I'm going to actually do is remove the sound layer. So I right click on this, click unlink, and select just the bottom one by clicking onto the side and then clicking it, and just press delete. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is right click it and press make composite shot, and this is all good, so I'm going to click OK. So what I have, actually there's still the sound in there, which is probably due to me switching it to a composite shot. So I'll go click on this, open controls, layer properties, and check the mute box. And that's a really good way to just take the sound out of it. What is this? Oh, that's the shadow. Okay, excuse me. Saw a funny thing, didn't know what it was. So the first thing we're going to do is add the glow effect onto it before we get rid of the blade right here, just so we have that on. And the reason you'd want to have the blade in the shot is for better rotoscoping, if you're going to do it like that, which I am. I always do rotoscoping, it's just my thing. And also, if you're going to have in the same shot the blade turn on and then collide with like another blade, then you need to have the blade already attached to the prop hilt. And what this prop here is actually some PVC piping right here with a little cap on the end. And then this is some kind of repair valve thing, and then another cap on the end, and this is spray painted black with duct tape, making sure it doesn't pop out when I swing it. And this was like $6 at Lowe's, so that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do for the effect here is I'm going to click new layer, plane, and this is going to be white, and I'm just going to name it blade. Just keep it simple. Then the width, I'll go on here and scroll up until it's so it's a little higher than the actual shot, because the neon glow effect, when it reaches near the edge of this plane, starts to kind of diminish, and that just doesn't look very good. So I always have it be a little bit bigger just to kind of hide that. So this plane is just a white rectangle, the same shape as the main video. Or wait, not quite. So yeah, we want to keep this at 100% scale. And we're going to click this little eye here to make it invisible for now. And now we're going to start working on the ignition. So we're going to go to the frame where the ignition would start. I'm going to say about 6 into this. And then going to grab the freehand mask tool. And down here at the hilt, I'm going to make a little, I have to select the blade layer. I'm gonna, using this on, I'm going to click on 4 spots in sequence where I want this to start. I'm actually gonna, you can also drag these to reposition them. For now, I'm going to keep this weird duct tape thing. It kind of looks like, this is just duct tape that's full like that. It's kind of like Luke's lightsaber, how it has the weird guard thing. Okay, and so if I turn this on, it's just a white plane. Actually, you can since it's already white, it's kind of hard to see. I'm gonna turn it on and off. So what this mask has done is the white plane is only visible now in this area. And so then we're going to want to animate this. I'm also going to, with this selected, take the end point of this and move it back so it just starts there, so this isn't just sitting there for a while. This is what it would look like otherwise, or there's just a white thing just hanging there. Kind of what it looks like. Okay, I was on frame number 6. Set that back. Okay. And so to animate that, what you're going to want to do is go into masks, into the mask and the controls. Click on blade, go to controls, masks, the mask. Go to transform and turn this on. And just click that, and then what this is if the circle is blue, then that means keyframing is enabled. If there's this dot in the middle, it means you're on a keyframe. And these keyframes are points that you set the mask to be on, and frames in between those will just interpolate between them. So since this blade is relatively still, I don't have to use too many keyframes, so I'm going to move. Yeah, if it's going in a nice motion, then that works best. So I'm going to move about 6 frames ahead, and then set the new points of where I want these to be. So like these 2 endpoints, I'm just going to drag these. I'm actually going to turn this back off so I can better rotoscope. This is called rotoscoping, by the way, if I didn't already mention that. Put that there. And then align these. Pretty good. And now using the period and comma is how I move back frames, and you can see this mask just kind of, just kind of pulls out, goes to the edge. Alright. And now that this blade is fully extended, I'm going to go ahead and add some effects onto it. So I'll go ahead and turn that on, go into effects, and I'll get the neon glow effect and just drag that right onto it. Then already we get this kind of cool glow thing. Looks a little weird because it's darker near the edges. I'm going to fix that in a minute. So I'm going to twirl this open and set this to be whatever color you want. In this case it's just going to be blue, like this one. Yeah, that's pretty good. So already it does look like a lightsaber, but it's not quite perfect. It looks a little fake. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another one on below it. This one is white as well, so I need to change that to the same color. And I'm going to turn the intensity down on this, or about there, and increase the radius, meaning this is going to kind of come out a little bit, and this is going to be kind of an outer glow. Okay, now that I got that going, a really good way to fix this to make it look like it's an actual light source and blending with the stuff behind it is to go into layer properties, set the blend mode to add. And that already looks way better. It really does look like a glowing thing there. Glowing object or lighting stuff around it. Now this is a very important step, setting the blend mode to add. A lot of tutorials I've seen don't do that, and it just looks really fake. And this just looks amazing. I just really like just the way it glows like that. That's why I like doing lightsabers, because it just looks so cool when you do them really good. So now if I play this, if I kind of go back a bit, you can see we have set it so that it does extend. If you want to set it to do this while it's moving, you'll probably need, well, like the blade is moving, you'll probably need to add some keyframes in between those two, just to make sure it works well and stuff. So, okay, now that we have the initial ignition, we have the ignition done. So what I'm going to do here is now make it so that while it's doing that, the blade, like right here, you can see the rest of the blade. We're just going to hide the blade until it's fully extended. So right here. We're going to turn this off for now to save computer power. And we're going to go back onto the trimmer while we're in the composite shot and go to that area where there was just nothing there. And that starts about here. It's about 12 seconds long, or 12 frames, excuse me. So I'm going to move my hand over there. So I'm actually going to start here, move ahead a bit. It's around 12 frames, and I'm just going to plop this right on top. I'll turn that back down. So now there's this part. Actually, I'm going to have this be underneath the lightsaber plane. And so now what this is the footage of me and then the empty wall for 12 frames. And we're going to want to select just this wall area. So I'm actually going to make this invisible for now and select the area of the wall that I want. So we're going to place around 6 points for this area. So it's way out here. Oops, I need to select this. So you can even draw masks and stuff on top of a plane that's not actually visible. So then I'm going to set it to be there, 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 and there. And now if I turn this back on, you'll see there's now just the area the empty wall is selected. There's this area right here. We do have the line that goes right by the hand, so I don't want to blur that too much, so I'm going to go into shape. And I'm going to add about 5 pixels of feather. It's pretty good. With all the other stuff going on, probably won't notice that, but I try to fix that later. I think there's some other methods I can do for that. Okay. So the one problem with this though is my hand moves around a bit. Oh, actually, my hand moves around so little. I don't think I actually need to keyframe this. I think that'll actually be just fine. Okay, so if I turn the blade on, actually, this looks pretty good. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to the first frame here. I'm going to click this, which makes a preview, sort of. It kind of renders it so that you can play it back at full speed. Alright, that's pretty good. With the sound on there, it's gonna look very nice. One more thing I want to do here is go to the frame where this starts, and on this, yeah, we're gonna add an effect. We're gonna get the light flares effect and drag that down onto the blade. And oh, since this is on add blend mode, that is very bright. So what I'm gonna do here, go into light flares and change the flare type to digital blocks. This one's pretty good. Put that right on there. We're gonna turn the intensity down to 0 for now, so I can position it. Position this right there. I don't think we'll need to move this either. This just stays in the hilt and seems to stay in the same spot the whole time. So okay, I'm gonna set the intensity to what looks good. Let's be a little bright, a little lower. That's pretty good. Okay, and we're gonna have to set the keyframe on this too, because we're gonna want this to slowly get dimmer as it extends over these 6 frames. Okay, and then when it gets to here, we're going to set this all the way down to 0, so that it just slowly gets dimmer as it extends. And you can change the color of this if you're using a different color blade by going into global here and spinning this around to change it to whatever color you need. The original color for this is pretty good. Well, maybe a little like there. Matches the color a little bit better. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so now we got the ignition done. And let's see, next thing we're going to need to do is keyframe it for the rest of it. Only 3 seconds in here. It's not going to take too long. So I'm going to make this plane invisible again so I can better work with this. Click on mask here and select the freehand mask tool again. And as you can see, we're on a keyframe here, so I think I start moving it there. Since this is all one kind of motion here that doesn't go too far off from a straight line, I think I can position them here without it being too off. So then always, whenever you set a keyframe, go back and see if it drifts off any. Here it does a little bit. Normally this wouldn't matter, but I'm going to change it anyway. So anytime you move these and there's not a keyframe already there, it'll set one to be there. So you see here there's not, and here there is because I did the change on that. And this one there's not, and then there's the end. Now as you can see here, these two frames, the end is exactly on the same spot. So if I set this to end, this interpolation is sort of end right there, then this frame, which is almost the same, it still is interpolating it between this point right here. So it's still slowly moving up to there when in fact this end actually stops at this frame. So you'll wanna watch for that if you understand what I'm saying. Now I am using HitFilm 4 Pro, which costs a little bit of $1, but a lot of this, actually I think everything I've done up to this point you can do in the free version, which is HitFilm 4 Express. I'm going to be doing some stuff that I think you might need some more stuff for. Maybe not. No, I think pretty much everything I'm doing here is gonna end up being free, so it's pretty cool. I recorded this just with my cell phone attached to a tripod in here, so you might have a better camera than me if you're doing this. I personally have no job, so don't have very good gear. Pretty much just this program. I'm gonna skip ahead through some of this as I work on this. One thing I want to mention here, this blade appears to be warped strangely. That's because of the quick motion that's going here, and when cameras take pictures, they kind of they like scan the light that's coming in from side to side, and depending on how long that takes, causes motion blur and kind of warping like this. You'll also get that when taking video of sometimes of airplane propellers and helicopter rotors and stuff. But since we're spreading this out a bit for the motion, we kind of set it so that it has all of that in there. And lightsabers do tend, in the films, they tend to sort of fan out a bit when they're swinging, especially in the Clone Wars animated series, I notice. So yeah, you'll want to just kind of spread it out a bit just so it fits all that in there. Since this blade is white, if some of it kind of peeks out from behind the mask, you won't really notice it at all because of this super bright effect we got going here. Alright, and I'm done. And that wasn't really hard. It took about 5 minutes. Mostly just kind of positioning points, you know. It doesn't take a lot of effort. A little bit of brain power trying to get it all together. So, yeah, this is only 3 seconds long, roughly, of this. So, but when you start getting like several minutes long and stuff of multiple people using these, it ends up taking a couple days really of like, you work on it for like an hour or something. So yeah, it does add up. It's It's not really hard though. Oh, and I noticed I did on this other thing, forget to mute it. Okay, so already this looks pretty good. Depending on your the power of your computer, this will go a bit faster. When you play through it, there won't be quite as much lag. So that looks pretty good. The way the this glow works is it kind of makes things that are close to it look like they're illuminated. So right here, when it's over my face and shirt, that looks pretty good. So we won't really need to add any extra stuff for that. You might want to do that if it's at night or have some practical lighting just kind of around. So there's one more thing I want to do to this. I'm going to real quick import a layer I have for some lens dirt, which is this. And this I got for free from actionvfx.com. They got some pretty good stuff there. Some stuff for free. I got pretty much all their free stuff because I just have no money. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put this over the blade starting here. And this is a bit higher resolution than the footage, but I'm actually going to keep this at 100%. What I'm going to do here is go to layer properties and set this to add, which kind of does this. That looks a little weird at first, but what we're going to do is go into here, go into the blade layer, and click on this mask and press Control C or copy, which does the same thing. And then Control V, go onto the lens dirt collection image here, go into mask and Control V, or you can just right click on it, click paste. And what this does is it sets it so that this lens dirt now has the same mask as the lightsaber, and you can only see it through the blade. But what we're gonna do here is go into shape of this and increase the expansion so that it expands out a bit. We're going to set it to about this much, about 200, let's get right on 200. And then increase the feather of this up to about 100, so over 100 pixels it'll kind of fade out. And now if we play through this, we'll see that the motion the lightsaber makes, wherever it goes, it sort of lights up those areas there, and this will be for just kind of spots on the camera. This happens with my camcorder I have. It just looks really cool and adds a extra bit of realism. I'm going to make these a little bit bluer by adding the color temperature effect onto this and turning this up all the way so it's all the way blue. You can also add this onto like videos here. You can see that you can make footage kind of hotter or dark. Ooh. That looks cool. That's kind of like the poster for The Last Jedi. It's pretty sweet. Kind of feel like doing something like that now. So yeah, this can kind of change the mood of stuff, make it seem a little warmer or a little colder out. This is just affecting this footage. But also what you do if you have this is also this square right here is not affected by that, so you'd have to copy that. Yeah, we're not going to be going too much into that. So yeah. All you need now is a sound on here. Yeah, I'm not, I've had just like a collection of lightsaber sounds just since I started doing this back in like the summer of 2015. Can't remember where I got it. If you look around the internet for a while, you'll probably come across some. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's gonna do it for this tutorial. Sometime I'm going to be going into making duels and other things you can do with this, maybe cutting off some limbs and damaging property and stuff like that. Some more Star Wars stuff. Oh, also, a couple more things I want to mention. This shadow, lightsabers don't tend to cast shadows, except for one scene in Clone Wars. It's a little weird. And also, like these windows here, you'll want to watch out for any reflective surfaces that could have your prop blade in them. You might want to add an effect onto those too, if that happens to happen. If that happens, which can look cool, add a bit of realism. I tend to just avoid doing that just because I'm lazy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can add whatever color you want onto this just by changing both the glows in here and the light flare. So yep, that's gonna be it. Bye guys.